Hi everybody, this is Michelle Kareeman, Women's Wellness Coach, and this is MGTV. Of course, I'm here because I love teaching women how to get healthy, naturally especially, without drugs, diets, or surgery. And this week is less about physical health and more about emotional health. Today, if you're watching this the day it comes out, is Family Day in BC, and next week is going to be Family Day in the rest of Canada. And I'm sure in America, you guys probably do not have a Family Day, but maybe each of your states have their own Family Day. But anyways, I wanted to give some ideas on Family Day and what you should be doing on Family Day, because it's really a time that you don't want to avoid. It's important that when we have time that's kind of forced on us in a little bit of a way, that we use it to the best of our ability to really make change happen. So this Family Day, I had a few suggestions on ways to actually enjoy it. Now, one of the things that I think is really awesome to do with your family is to start a little bit of a family tradition and bring it really close to where your kind of family legacy is. And if I'm saying these words and you're thinking, I don't have a family legacy, then this is a perfect year to create one. You should be creating kind of like a goal or a mission for your family, or something that you want to work towards. Similar to what I do in my intentions, my yearly intentions is to pick one word that has to do with my yearly intentions. It allows that kind of extra space to be filled with that goal and moving me forward towards it. And if you haven't watched that video, I'll put the link below, but you should, on why I don't do New Year's resolutions and how to do a New Year's intention. But for your family, you can always have one that specifically has to do with kind of your family code and what's important to you. Now, a lot of you I know are going to pick God or something spiritual. And so if you do, Family Day would be a really cool day to do something together as a family that brings you together spiritually. So maybe you guys want to start reading the Bible this year together, or you want to make sure worship happens together, or you want to go share it with somebody else. Like, how amazing would it be for your family to go to another family's house and talk to them about what you know about God? That sounds really cool. Or it could have to do with health, right? And so all of you could go for a hike today, or pick a really cool way to get healthy. I know, especially in kind of bigger cities, there's lots of those really big gyms with trampolines and those really cool different obstacle courses that you can go to. Also, if you're thinking that your family is really about love for each other and care, it could be a great day to kind of sit and really plan, help the family plan each of their lives. You know I love a plan. And to sit down and ask your kids and your wife, and what is our life going to look like by the end of this year? Or what do you want our lives to look like in 5 years? What are you planning to do? What are the kids planning to do? And remember, you want to keep the pressure off. It doesn't really matter what your kids decide that they want to do. I like my mom had this like scrapbook from when I was 0 to grade 12. That's what this scrapbook was based on. And I remember looking through the scrapbook when I was like just going into like grade 9, and like every single year from like like 3 to like 10, I changed what I wanted to be every single year. So it doesn't really matter what they think of. It's more important that they have some kind of goal that they are working towards. And if you are picking as kind of the theme of your family, that you really have like a legacy from your parents or grandparents, or you personally have this legacy as far as business or something, it might be a great day to take the family and really talk to them about what it is that you're looking to get out of having them there. I know that that might kind of sound really weird, but I remember once my husband and I were traveling from the city, because we do not live in the city, we live in the mountains, and he asked me, like, was this what you were hoping for our lives together? You know, what would you change? And it seemed like a really weird question, but it really touched me that he cared enough to ask, and it made a difference to me because it allowed me to really think about what it is that I was expecting and what I did want. It's one of the things that I suggest to all of my clients, when we come to that point of marital bliss, that you actually talk about what is it that you expected a husband to look like? What is it that you expected a wife to look like? Because we have very different ideas as couples, and it's often we can expect something that the other person doesn't even know we're looking for. Or, and I've seen this happen in marriages too, we expect something we don't even know that we're expecting, and we get disappointed in ways that we're not even paying attention to. So, use this family day to spend time with your family. It'll be really awesome to move you towards your mission. And if you don't have a mission, decide on a mission and then move towards it. If your mission is service, this is a great time to even just find a place that you could be able to be of service, even if you don't get a chance to do service because that place is closed today. My mom and I, we actually used to go to shelters and feed the poor. And I think it was a great experience for me as a teenager to really see the situation that was going on in my city. I grew up in Toronto, and to really experience, for a minute, what other people's lives were like. It really kind of changes your life. Another thing that was exceptionally changing for my life that I encourage all of you guys to do is to travel. Now, if you use this family day to travel, that would be awesome. There are lots of places that are close enough to drive through. All you have to do is get the visitor's guide from your area, and you will find some really cool places that you probably don't even know exist. Even if you live, like when I was living in Toronto, I took some of my time off to actually do the tour from the university that I had attended for 4 years, right? And actually tour it like a visitor. And I learned things about the university that I never even would have thought existed. It was super cool, and I'd like to share that information with people now. So even if you're touring the place that you live, it's going to be an awesome time to spend time with your family, to explore, to have a little bit of an adventure, and really to make that time really worthwhile. It is those periods of time that you are going to remember. We didn't have family day, of course, when we were young, because they just started it like last year. But my mom made an effort as a single parent almost every single Sunday to take me to either the Science Center, the Art Gallery, or to the park. And I know the park doesn't sound so much fun as the other two, but I remember those experiences of going to the park, and I love them. We would actually get on the streetcar at the first stop, because we live really close to Main Station, and we'd get on at the streetcar at the first stop, and we'd take the streetcar across the city until the very last stop of the streetcar, which probably took about 90 minutes, if not longer. And we'd get off at the last stop, which was High Park, and we'd walk down the hill from High Park to this big huge pond that they had, and we'd feed the ducks bread. And they had like kind of like a kids park, slides and swings and stuff, and we'd play in that, and I'd play in that for hours. And I have such vivid memories of those experiences, which I loved. Sometimes we'd eat there, sometimes we'd bring a lunch, and I'm sure that was a financial thing. I'm sure that it was really hard. I could tell you right now, it cost probably $1.50 for my mom to ride the subway, and when I was really young, I was probably free, and when I wasn't free, it was probably 50 cents. And if we had brought our lunch, that didn't cost us any more. But those memories mean the world to me. I love the fact that I got to sit with my mom on the streetcar, and I got to look at the city, and I got to ask really silly questions, and I talked to random people, because that's what I did when I was young a lot. And I used to probably fall asleep on the way home, but I love that experience. And so it's not about having this big, huge thing planned, but it is about having a plan and having something that you do with your family. And I know as not all families have kids, and I've given a lot of kid ideas and things that I loved when I was a kid, but I know my husband and I, we don't have children, that any time that he spends time asking me any questions about me, I'm happy. And I know lots of you, well, all of my clients are women. When it comes to husbands, asking them what they're interested in and letting them talk about it really makes them happy. Asking them what their goals are and what they really want, or doing something really nice for them, that they either do for you really makes things happy. When my husband went away for a week, I cleaned up all the poop in the yard, which he usually does, and it made him really happy, I could tell. You know, and I took out the garbage and I did all the things that he usually did instead of letting him wait till he came home. So even if on family day all you do is all the jobs that your husband usually kind of does or try to do them, I'm sure at least you'll put a smile on his face. My husband usually makes breakfast, but one day when I make breakfast for him, it always makes him happy because he loves the food that I cook. So do something cool that you know might even be small, if that's your husband's love language. I love love languages, and it's really good to figure that out too, but that's a whole other story. I'm so glad to be sharing these ideas with you. I think it's such an important time. Do not let this day go by without either planning something or doing something for your family. And have a wonderful week. We will see you next week. And click if you're looking for an intention. It's a really cool way to make sure that you make the most of this year. Bye, everybody. Thank you.